Breakout Monday drama as promised. The GME month and a half consolidation right into the point exploded to the upside today. The other meme stocks are following. S&P's bulling. Bitcoin's second bearish flag breakdown popped off the moving averages and just did a slingshot to the upside. Like everything's crazy. We'll take a look at the dollar and some macro stuff that's looking weak. Also, which is bullish for the market. Like it's just looking super bullish to start this week out all across the board. Stuff's going crazy. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications. We'll see what is going on. Breakout Monday. So this is the S&P. We are in the bull channel, and S&P did pop to the bullish side of this consolidation area here. Forget that thing. Yeah, so S&P's bulling, and it's holding support for the Monday. So we're looking for some of this up the bull channel and maybe some of this attempt to pop out of a little bull channel and go test this big bull channel at some point. Maybe this month, maybe next month, something like that. The next month or two, we'll see if we can get up here and test the big bull channel and see what's really up, because that's the real resistance here on the S&P. And let's see, the dollar. This is the first move I've considered actually bearish on the dollar. I've been strong dollar for since January, and this hasn't broken down yet. So I'm not going bearish on the dollar, but this is a bear side move. So in order to be bullish, I mean, this thing's got to get above this moving average, above this support line, real fast. It needs to do it now. Otherwise, I'm going to start getting bearish on the dollar, which would be bullish for the general markets. Where's the dollar versus the yen is usually a good indicator. So the yen, the dollar yen chart has this huge consolidation and this breakout, and so this looks like it's about to backtest, and this actually is looking like it's going to do a bullish backtest, but not necessarily. Like it can break across, and this is actually a good point to look at Bitcoin, because let's zoom in on this Bitcoin pullback. So I've been pointing out these bear flags, and I guess technically this was a bear flag because it did break down below the bottom of the flag. And so my last Bitcoin video was during this breakdown. I think I started the video before it broke down, but what I was looking for is a back test underneath this flag and a continuation to the downside, and that did not happen, obviously. We got a huge rip. Let me go out to the dailies. So yeah, you can see the 1 hour moving average here. We just freaking gapped above it. So this is super bullish. We're on the bull side of absolutely everything here. I'm super bullish Bitcoin again, and I got a ton of call options out to the end of next year, like 100 strike calls. That's what I was pointing at last video. Let's just take a look at the moving averages. So if we get into the different hourly moving averages, we're kind of running into them or still approaching them. But the daily is the big one. The 120-day moving average is what Bitcoin loves to bounce off of, and it is no joke. Like we had a very strong technical bear flag and down move, and this moving average, when I started talking about it back here, it was at like 20 something. So I was saying we'll probably pull back into these 40s and look for this moving average. And we've consolidated for over a month, so I mean, we did finally pull back into the moving average, but it's all the way up here at 47. So that was it. We tagged this moving average and just ripped to the upside. If we look at the history of Bitcoin, it is like a 6-to-1 odds that's about what we get as you just tag the moving average and keep going. Oh, I need to go to the dailies though. Yeah, so let's squeeze this a little bit and go back. So the previous bubble, sometimes you stab through it, but on the bull part of each 4-year like bull cycle, I mean this 1, 2, 3, 4, and short of it. So this 4 hits without stabbing it. But the previous cycle, we did stab through it twice and then took off. So it is possible to stab through it. It is possible that we still turn over and stab through it from where we are now. If you can look at like this part where we stabbed it, bounced pretty good, and then still turned over. That could still happen. So until there's any kind of a bearish move, though, the technicals are on the bullish side of the hourlies and the dailies now. We got a pretty good bounce. So this bearish move is halted, and it's bullish short term and long term until we get any kind of another kind of bearish technical setup. But anyway, I'm bullish Bitcoin. I'm long calls. GME, this is the big breakout here today that we've been watching. I drew this on what, 30 minutes? Okay, so let's get in on GME. This is, whoa, it's crazy. So, I mean, we have this super freaking boring consolidation. Well, I mean, this first part was the crazy bubble. That wasn't boring, but this consolidation has been going on for over a month. I've been tracking this thing, trying to figure out where it's going to break out. And it went to the bitter end of this thing. Like, this was literally the last day that it could have broken out of here, because it's over. The consolidation is like right into the point. But it did. It broke out solid. And I went in that new Roth account that I was showing you on the last video. I just went all in on Bitcoin calls, weeklies and monthly. Bitcoin calls in my my Roth account is all call options. I closed some of them into close today, which is apparently dumb. But yeah, anyway, here's the deal, man. We broke out big time. We already backtested it here. Double backtested it on the breakout, and it's just this small. So that's a full breakout and backtest just here. And then we got flag. Let me go in on a tighter chart. Look at this, like a 1 minute chart. This is what I was doing today. Looking at this thing on one. But yeah, if you tighten this thing up on a 1 minute chart, we got this breakout this morning, and options trading was opening in here around this peak, and this little flag back here, I started going all in that Roth account, and then I bought more in another account. Like, I did some big time GME call option purchasing this morning, and boom, you know, flag all day today. Just super angry, aggressive breakout. And this, the thing that I've been looking for the last month, is a bubble trend line support that can take us through this neckline, and we got it now. And this has pretty much tomorrow or Wednesday. If we hold this support line tomorrow or Wednesday, this thing's going to be taking us through. So let's say we pull back into support here. Boom. This neckline, this trend line takes us through the 194. Then we're actually through it. And then we can freaking go and get our targets, our big targets. So, I mean, we got a 333. We have the previous top. Apparently, I didn't draw a line, but the previous top is somewhere around 500. And the 333 is a big neckline. Let me go back out to, what, the 30 minute? Yeah. Yeah, so if you look at the previous bubble of the big consolidation, there's a neckline here at 194, which is super pain in the butt thing that we've been just reacting on nonstop, and we just did it again. We just hit it in after hours and rejected. And then the 333 is that top neck that we've only hit once, and that's the next target, and we'll probably catch pretty big resistance there. So that's my target for this week, is try to get 333 and trade out of all the short-term options, and then try to figure out what I'm doing again as my strategy for myself, not investment advice. And then once this chart blasts through the 500, if we start the squeeze, and if this is the bubble trend line, that's steep and it's super angry, and that puts us up here in, like, you know, a week or two, are going to be breaking out of the top of this thing. And bang, like, this thing could, well, I mean, this is like a huge month and a half consolidation. I expect a pretty good up move now, and then I'm not sure if we go crazy taking off on this bubble trend line. It looks like we might, though. This might be it, the bubble trend line, and we can go hot and pull back into it and crash through it and go get it again like we did back here. I mean, like this, see this bubble trend, bubble takeoff here? A big consolidation into this thing, and then you get too hot, you pull back, and these are pretty big pullbacks. And like this one is nuts. Like, it went off way too hot, up to 166. It crashed through the trend line down to 60, So I mean that's uh, a big kind of takeoff and crash. That's the kind of action that I would be expecting to get if we get this bubble trend line. But just like this kind of thing here, where it's just like picking up the trend line, then it starts going vertical. That's what we're looking for right now. Vertical flag, vertical, flag. And then it just jumped up to the top of this thing. So that's, yeah, just that kind of action is what we're looking for here. It's going to be a slightly slower time scale, and the targets to the upside of Gamestop, I mean, oh, I did draw a line, I just didn't drag it out. We had overnight trading on GME that went a little bit over 500. So just like a generic bubble kind of top area, I would say is 3x or 4x, so like 1500 range to 2000 range is kind of what I'm looking at for the top of the GME bubble. And that could take several months, or it could happen this month, something like that. But I'll also just all the drama, like supposedly there's like 20% short on it, but like nobody actually believes that. So if it starts taking off and squeezing, short squeezing and gamma squeezing, and a hedge fund blows up or something like that, we'll get to see what's happening. Just like when the Archegos hedge fund blew up, and we got to see how they had all their positions in swaps, so they didn't even have to report. And then you have, shares that are sold short, resold short multiple times to multiple people. So like the chain of which shares are short is pretty complicated and hard to unravel, and a bunch of the trades are off the books in these bank swaps. So I think GME could get the entire stock market in trouble and could blow up more than one hedge fund if this thing really blows up. And I think it might be doing that now. So that could get interesting. AMC, oh, I switched this bottom line of the consolidation just to look more like the GME and the KOSS charts, but AMC did a very similar breakout today. So there's tons of drama, tons of charts breaking out, memes are breaking out, the stock market's bulling, Bitcoin did a huge reversal breakout. This one did not backtest. This was a pretty cool, like a symmetrical triangle at the top that broke out, but AMC looks to me like it needs to come back and backtest this channel once or twice. There's plenty of room for it, and it hasn't backtested. So we might see different action in AMC and GME charts right now, but that's kind of the look that I'm seeing on AMC is a backtest down here, and I'll call AMC up. And yeah, so AMC looks cool. I like that chart a lot. And then let me go find the KOSS chart, because it's almost the same thing. KOSS did a similar to GME, like all the way to the tip of this triangle, and did a little breakout move. There's not really any room for it to backtest. So this chart's a little weird, and we have support coming in right next to it. So these charts are pretty similar, not quite exactly the same, but they're all breaking out to the upside, which is pretty cool right now. And then what sucks? Does anything suck today? I think like, oh, you know what probably sucks? I bet gold sucks. Let's look at gold. Is gold just breaking out? Probably not. No. Okay. So yeah, gold's, I'm still bearish. It's not like terrible. Gold has been doing a little rally for a few weeks here, but it started coming into this trend line that's got a ton of resistance, plus the moving average coming down on top of it, and it has so far got knocked down by this. So gold's going to have to get above all this crap before I get bullish on it, and probably get out of the top of this whole thing, actually. Yeah, so still bearish gold. It's not terrible, but this is a pretty green day. Yeah, it's just some random little stuff that did any kind of down moves. Miners. Oh, this actually is a pretty cool chart. Oh, that flag line is not a real thing. But I've been looking for, this is First Majestic AG. I just grabbed it because it was red, but it doesn't look bad. This is a consolidation. I've been looking for a takeoff trend line here, but we had this false breakout of this huge zone on AG, First Majestic miners, silver miners, and maybe it's not breaking out yet, but I think we're gonna pick up. I think we're gonna pick up a trend line and take off on this thing pretty soon here. Anything else? Let's look for some big numbers. Anything else doing cool stuff? FCX, my favorite miners, materials and metals company in that space, held support and put in a big move today, which is pretty cool. So this has been consolidating with everything else, but it looks like it's picking up support and staying strong here. And so probably not a good spot to buy it here, but if it comes back into support and it wants to break through this, top area, it's been stuck under this thing since February. This could be a good takeoff move in the next week sometime if we get support and just break up through this trend line. And so this is the sector that I've been saying. We're rotating out of tech and rotating into the basic materials and minerals and metal stocks. And this is the momentum leader in that whole sector. It's just been crushing it. And also, if tech starts sucking, which nobody expects, but I think it is going to do that, this one won't. Like, this is going to be a momentum leader stock. So FCX is making a power move today with everything else, which is cool to see. Let's look at like Tesla and ARK and the Qs and see what tech is doing actually right now. On the breakouts, what's happening? Not much. Qs did a decent move. They're just kind of stalling, but they're stalling around all-time highs. I'm not sure if that's really a good thing. Just kind of neutral, just hanging out up there. But it was Tesla and ARK that led that kind of tech pullback. And so this is kind of what's been going on there. We just had a little bit sideways, kind of choppy stuff for a month or so with Tesla here. It's just kind of consolidating. It's not really indicating what direction it wants to go. It looks kind of like a bear flag, but it's too big and it's just too close to it just turned over, so it doesn't really look like a bear flag. It's like too big and too close to this reversal point to be called a bear flag. And plus Tesla loves the 700. So it needs to break below the 7 and below the flag before a short entry would make sense. And then, breaking out of the top of this thing, you've got this entire consolidation range to 8 to 900 area, which is resistance around the topping pattern that we had. So Tesla's just kind of trapped in a weird area. But anyway, that's kind of what I was saying, is the tech stocks are just kind of going to be a boring sector here as we go to the top of this bubble. And let me go find ARK. ARK looks very similar to Tesla. It's just chopping around sideways. I don't know if there's like a little flag similar to Tesla going on here. Something like that. Yeah, it's just very similar to Tesla, just kind of consolidating out sideways and being boring. I mean, we do have moving averages coming in here, and this one doesn't have the kind of support that Tesla has. It has a more clean kind of top line resistance, and the moving averages are here. So I don't know. I'm not thinking about shorting any of these things right now, because everything's bulling, obviously. But these look pretty weak while everything's bulling. And I think if the market does top and turn over, like, these might be leading the down move again. IWM, the Russell 2000 ETF, has been pretty interesting. It's had this really wild consolidation pattern that looks like it might be a topping pattern, because we got this, looping turnover. It's like kind of a shoulder and a turnover, and then we get a consolidation up here. But it's going higher now. It's not breaking down underneath the lines here. So this one is dangerous looking, and the Russell's a really interesting one to look at. I don't really like it up to the top. I really like FCX, but this guy has huge amounts of margin loans as far as ETFs go, and it's really overextended on all of the the charts. If you go back and compare it to like the previous two bubbles, like the amount of margin and the amount that this is over its like normal levels. This thing's just way overextended and tons of margin, tons of leverage on this thing. So this one, when the market tops, I'm going to be looking at IWM. I'm going to be looking at Tesla and ARK. I think those ones could be big short positions when we find a top. But on the way up, I really like FCX and not a whole lot else. Like everything's kind of sketch. Yeah. Oh, the uranium stock has been interesting. I mean, this thing was bulling and it made a pretty good move. You can't get calls on this guy. But this last flag broke down and now it's moving up, but it's throwing darts through and staying underneath. I don't know. This thing looks really dangerous right now. I really liked this one for a while, but this looks really dangerous. So I'm going to be just staying away from that thing for now. What else is going on? The Dogecoin. What's Doge doing? Let's see. 26. So yeah, this is just roughly what I was saying in the last couple of videos. We did get this pullback. Here, let me zoom in a little tighter on that. Or let me just show the chart. So I mean, Doge has been doing this stuff since last year. Flagging. It's just got this trend line. It's been flagging and popping. Most people didn't find out about it until this move here. But it's been bulling. It's been bulling pretty good for a while, for a bunch of months. But this looks like a similar kind of flag. It did stick that dart down. So if you zoom in on this, you can see that that dart came down to this kind of consolidation area here. But then we popped back up, and it looks like we're just doing another straight sideways, like boring consolidation for now. Like this is the weirdest. I mean, I guess you call these bull flags, but they're just weird. Like just straight sideways bull flags, like right along a trend line, and then it just turns up like gradually. That's just strange. But it looks like it's doing that for now. Generally, bull flags will pull down more than that. They'll kind of angle down. They don't usually go flat sideways, but Doge does. So hey, maybe it will do that again. All right, so let's get back in on the Gamestop chart because that's the one that I was talking about popping today, and it's doing it, and it's not only just popping today, it's popping into the overnight. So I just wanted to check where it is. So see, this is our 194 neckline here, and now in the overnight trading, we've already done a false breakout and popped it, and so I think that's probably enough action on this line to go ahead and break it. The last time that we did that, we went through it. Let's go back to when we broke that 194 the first time. Not that one. Yeah, I'm on a one minute chart. So yeah, the last time we broke it, we did that. We popped it, then we did a false breakout, and then we broke it. So that's kind of the action to look for over the next day, basically. We just did this move overnight. We just stabbed it. So we'll see if we get a false breakout, and then we'll see if we can slam through it again. And then this time, we've already hit the 333 once. So we probably won't get the insane like vertical rejection that we got last time off the 333. But yeah, so if we just did that same kind of pattern and used this support to do it, we just stabbed it, and then we could go up and get a false breakout, and then we could just slam it, and that could happen. That could happen during a day session. That whole thing could happen overnight. We could be doing this stuff. We could get a false breakout into the open or early, and then we could break it into close or overnight tomorrow night or something like that. So that's the look on GME. It looks super bullish. I think we might be getting the bubble trend line. And if this thing takes us through the neckline on support like this, then that will be our actual support for like the, foreseeable future. And that thing is steep. That is a really steep trend line. So, I mean, if you just grab this thing and throw it into the sky, up to like 2,000 or something, that's what I was saying the top might be at this angle. Like that's only like a week. So that seems a little too aggressive. I don't think we're gonna go to 2000 like in a week. I guess it's possible. I think Volkswagen did something like that, just like exploded up in a few days to a ridiculous number, but um, I'm not really expecting that at all. But I do want to see a support line take us through this neckline, and then we can worry about the 333 next. Yeah, so that's kind of the update on all the things. This weak dollar move is something to watch for sure. It hasn't really broken down yet, but it is actually looking bearish. I know a lot of people have been calling for it to go bearish. Like even this whole time it was bulling, they're just saying it's going to turn over and crash. And I've been saying it's bulling until it's not. Like it still is kind of neutral here. So yeah, I'm not weak dollar yet, but if it does go weak dollar, that'll be a good look for the S&P to probably pop out of the top. Yeah, so if the dollar stays strong, staying in this channel will be good. If the dollar goes weak, probably look for this thing to blast out of the top of here. That would be the correlation I would kind of think of. And there is the risk of breaking down as well. But I mean, I think if we're going to bull past this peak, I think we're going to go ahead and bull up to the top of this channel. Like if this peak is not knocking us down out of the channel, I don't know why we would just fall out now. Probably won't. So yeah, that's the market. And what's the timing on this? This is like the whole month here, and this goes into next month. So yeah, if we bull really hot, we can get up here this month. Or well, we're still April. May. We can get up here in May. But yeah, alright, so I don't know if there's anything else cool to look at. And not really. Oh, what are treasuries doing? I think treasury is kind of reversed here. Yeah. So treasuries. So it looks the yield has been going up, and the treasury ETF has been falling as a result. But it looked like it bottomed here, and so that was another thing that people were concerned about, the yields going up, the interest rates going up. And so that's taking a break right now. I don't really believe that it's going to be doing a strong reversal here. I think this is a counter trend move, and it's going to keep probably going down at some point. And I actually think the dollar is going to bull too, which could be surprising. Oh, maybe take a look at oil. So I drew a mess of lines on the oil chart. This is not very helpful. But oil's just been consolidating basically around this 60 area, and it's a little bit above it now. So if it breaks down under this, under the 61 area here, that could look kind of bearish for oil. If it gets in here, it still isn't looking super hot. It's going to be hard for me to get bullish on oil. Like it's got to get up here, 67, somewhere up above all this stuff. But related to the dollar, if the dollar goes strong, that's generally bad for oil, and a weak dollar is generally fine for oil. So, I mean, this huge oil rally over the last, year has all come on a weak dollar. And so, yeah. Anyway, I guess that's just kind of the look. The dollar usually affects the market a lot, but it hasn't affected it as much lately. The last few weeks, the market has been bulling while the dollar's bulling. It's just been a little bit weird. Yeah, all right. So let's see if Bitcoin holds and consolidates here and keeps taking off. Just yeah, most of the time when you do a bounce off the moving average like that with Bitcoin, I thought this the bear flag was going to be stronger than that, but it really freaking took off and did a slingshot move off that moving average. So almost every time Bitcoin does that, it doesn't consolidate outside of it. It goes up. It goes up, like above the previous top. I mean, I think 80 something, maybe 80 is a good target here, somewhere in here, before we start looking for, doesn't have to go quite that vertical, but I think Bitcoin is going to take off. But I'll definitely be watching it closely, but that's usually what it does when it bounces off a moving average. It definitely didn't stab through it. So yeah, anyway, we'll just watch stuff. It's a pretty interesting start to the week. We do have some big breakouts and some interesting stuff going on this week, so could be a fun trading week. And yeah, I guess that'll do it for this one. I guess I'll do, like, I don't know. I'll figure out what to say in the intro. That's a lot of stuff. But it's all like bullish breakout stuff, so that's what I'll be talking about in the intro. Alright, cheers. Happy trading.